Welcome back, guys, to my channel. Thank you so much for dropping by. I know it's been a little while, but hey, today we are going to be talking about not one, but many movies, because this is the video where I talk about my favorite films of the year, specifically 2024. I'll be doing a top, not 10, but 13 with honorable mentions, just because I couldn't quite narrow it down. I really do think it was a fantastic year in cinema. Once again, a disclaimer, I have not seen every single film in 2024 that has come out. I'm sure I've missed quite a lot, especially a lot of the international films. However, this is going to be a favorites list of the films that I have seen, and so without further ado, here we go. First off, like a band-aid, let's go rapid fire with the honorable mentions. These are films that I really enjoyed, and maybe in a different moment in my life, they might have been on this list or in a different year. However, there were so many great films for me personally that came out this year that these are going to be on the honorable mention list, and I want to at least give them a shout out here because I think they are worth seeing. Civil War, Sing Sing, Kinds of Kindness, La Estrella Azul, or The Blue Star, I Saw the TV Glow, Ghostlight, His Three Daughters, Baby Girl, and The Brutalist. Now let's dive into the top 13. Coming in at number 13 is a film written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg, and that film is A Real Pain. A Real Pain is this small, intimate drama that is just so cleverly written and really tugs at your heartstrings with some great performances at the center between Jesse Eisenberg, but specifically Kieran Culkin, who is obviously the favorite to win Best Supporting Actor this year. I really enjoyed seeing this film at the cinema, and I do highly recommend checking it out if you haven't. Coming in at number 12 is an animated film, and probably not the animated film that you're thinking about. It is the Latvian film called Flow. Flow is just magical. It's gorgeous to look at and is this really touching, sweeping story of a cat. Not just a cat, but also the journey it goes on with all these other animal companions, and without a single word of dialogue, it communicates so much emotion and really affected me in the cinema. I mean, it is gorgeous. I highly recommend you go check it out. If you haven't seen it yet, go see Flow. Coming in at number 11 is one of the most fun times I think I had at the cinema this year, and that is Heretic. Heretic is an A24 horror film that stars Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. The best part of this film is Hugh Grant, and he just gets to really chew the scenery and do this crazy, kooky, lovely performance that he gives, and that is why it's truly worth watching. Now, it is a good film and has a really cleverly written script, and I think it works very well, but really, truly, he is the anchor at the center of this film, and I had a blast watching it. I do highly recommend it, especially if you're into horror, or if you're into Hugh Grant, or if you're into both, you're gonna have a good time. Go check out Heretic. Coming in at number 10 is another horror film, and that horror film is a sequel to another one that came out another year, which is Smile 2. Smile 2 is the direct sequel to Smile, and I had a damn good time at the cinema watching this thing. The sound design is immaculate, the score is juicy, and at the center of it we have one of the best performances of the year, in my opinion, by Naomi Scott, who just absolutely just killed it, and you're really with her the whole movie, and she actually is a super convincing pop star as Sky Riley. I think that it is a fantastic film, and it's a ton of fun at the cinema. It was quite creepy, so if you haven't seen Smile 2, go check it out. You don't even have to see the first one. Just go check it out. Coming in at number 9, we have a film from Ireland, and that film is Kneecap. Kneecap is about a hip-hop rap group from Belfast, Northern Ireland. It is a music biopic of sorts, but it doesn't follow that traditional mold where we're doing this biopic about someone who has been in the zeitgeist for decades and decades, or somebody who has passed away. Like other films that actually have come out this year, it really tells it in a different way about this group that is famous right now and is becoming actually way more famous because of the movie. There is this revolutionary message at the center of it, and a fascinating, fun, goofy story that really grabs you, and I just had a blast watching Kneecap, and I could recommend it to pretty much anyone. I highly recommend it. If you haven't seen Kneecap, go check it out. Coming in at number 8, we have a film from Luca Cuba Guadagnino, and that film is Challengers. Challengers is this love triangle film with Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, and Mike Feist. However, it isn't just that. But it is. But it isn't. But it is. This film is a sexy sports metaphor. It's got great performances at the center of it with Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, and Mike Feist just playing off of each other in this love triangle with some incredible cinematography and one of the absolute best musical scores of the entire year. And it is a travesty that it was not nominated for Best Original Score at the Oscars. This film is an absolute blast, and if you haven't seen it, I would definitely check it out, and you'll have a good time. I mean, coming in at number 7 is another horror film. Shocking. Wow, that's so strange. That film is Longlegs. Directed by Oz Perkins, we have Mike Monroe and Nicolas Cage facing off in this serial killer horror film. I found it deeply unsettling and creepy, atmospheric, and creates an immaculate sense of dread. The cinematography and the performances are fantastic. If you're a fan of the horror genre, you should have probably already seen this film, but if you haven't, definitely check it out. But for me, as a genre fan and a fan of all of the creepy things and things that go bump in the night, this was a damned good time at the cinema. Please do go check it out. Coming in at number 6 is this Lynchian thriller, weird, goofy, strange film called The Beast. The Beast stars Léa Seydoux and George McKay, and it is a wild ride about these 3 kind of different realities starring the same or not the same characters, maybe in spirit or in some way, shape, or form. It is a trip, and honestly, it is one of the most interesting pieces of cinema to have come out this year. Honestly, I don't necessarily have the full words to describe why this film affected me in the way it did, but it's a thrilling time. It's darkly funny, and for me, it has a lot to say, but it's very Lynch-esque, and if you don't dig into it, it's gonna come across as like, what was that? But if you dig into it, I feel like there's some really juicy meat on the bone, and you know what? I just go watch it and make your own conclusion. Coming in at number 5, we have a film by the lovely, wonderful Sean Baker, and that film is Anora. I'm really hoping that Anora takes the Best Picture prize this year at the Oscars, just because I don't want to see it go to Emilia Pérez, and The Brutalist was good, but I would rather just see it go to this wonderful gem of a film. It has some of the best performances of the year. It is deeply funny and is this wild ride of a film with tons of humor while commenting on some really prescient issues. However, this wild ride doesn't end in a fashion where you're like, hey, it's all okay. But it was this lovely nuanced look at this character played by Mikey Madison, and she's fantastic in the film. Same with Yuri Borisov, and honestly, the entire cast was great, and you know what? This film is gorgeous. You know what? Just go watch it. Go watch Anora. Coming in at number 4, a film that I saw twice at the cinema. That film is Nosferatu. Nosferatu is the remake of the classic German expressionist film from the 1920s, which stars Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, Bill Skarsgård, Willem Dafoe. I tell you what, Lily Rose Depp, another one of the absolute best performances of the year, and the Oscars need to start recognizing horror in a different capacity. Now, I do appreciate what they've done with certain other films this year, but there either needs to be some kind of separate category or something. Something needs to shift a little more with the Oscars, and so they aren't stigmatizing the genre. So, come on, get it together. However, I am happy to see that it has 4 nominations for below-the-line categories, as they call them, because this film is gorgeous in every single way. The production design, the costumes, the makeup, and of course, Jaron Blaschke's cinematography, which is Robert Eggers' partner for quite some time now, working together on his films to create the visual look of their films. This is just a gorgeous film to look at, and the music is fantastic, the sound design is fantastic, everyone is firing on all cylinders, and I had a great time watching it. I mean, it's fucking Nosferatu, man. Go see it. Coming in number 3, The Substance. The Substance stars Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley and is directed by Coralie Farge. And this film rocks. It has a clear social commentary that it's making, and at the exact same time, it's just a film that freaking slaps, and it moves, and it rocks. It maybe is a little bit long in my opinion, but otherwise, the film is absurd, it's ridiculous, it's creepy, it fits into the canon of cinema, and it's one of the best films of this year, hands down, with some amazing performances, and Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley are both deserving, as well as the director. And you know what? If you're squeamish, it maybe isn't the thing for you, but if you can handle it, if you can stomach it, this film slaps. Go see it. Coming in at number 2 is a smaller film that for some reason hasn't seemed to have gotten the recognition that it deserves, and it's directed by Alicia Rohrwacher. That film is La Chimera. I talked about this film in a different part of my year. It also stars Josh O'Connor's this Italian film that is just this beautiful, magical little adventure film that harkens back to something that might be Indiana Jones-esque, but is smaller, more intimate, and dramatic, and magical, and I just found it to be a wonderful surprise, and I think it's gorgeous, and Josh O'Connor is giving such a wonderful, lovely performance. Hey, Josh O'Connor this year with Challengers and La Chimera, let's go, huh? So go check out La Chimera. Coming in at number 1 is something that's probably not super surprising, as I've become somewhat of a fan. That film is a film that I saw 3 times at the cinema, and that film is Dune Part 2. This film for me is one of the biggest cinematic achievements of the year, if not the past 5 or 10 years. It is not just a sci-fi film. It's not just a thrilling action adventure. It's much more than that. Denis Villeneuve managed to bring his vision of the adaptation of the unadaptable or very difficult to adapt book that is Dune, doing an amazing job with Dune Part 1, and then coming all the way through and doubling down and raising the stakes and creating an amazing sequel in Dune Part 2. This film rocks. It has an amazing score by Hans Zimmer. I would argue that Greg Fraser's cinematography is even better here than it was in Dune Part 1. And now that we get to see what happens with Paul Atreides, Timothée Chalamet is Lisa Nalgai, okay?
And Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis! Erudidina Heshidani! Nelisa Nalgai!
When he stands up in that moment, I am like, okay, let's go. All right, where are we going? What are we doing? I'm following you, my man. Although I know, it is in fact going somewhere maybe a little dark, just a little bit. Timothée Chalamet is no longer a boy here. He is a full-blown man, and we can see that in 2 performances from him this year. Him being the leader of the Fremen, as well as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. He has become solidified as one of the greatest young actors of our current generation of actors. In addition to him leading this wonderful, huge cast, we have magnificent performances from the likes of Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, and the wonderful, amazing Javier Bardem, and of course, not to forget Skarsgård and Austin Butler. This film just moves, and it's a long film, but it has a pace that is like no other, and it is endlessly rewatchable. It has an incredible ending, amazing set pieces, and just makes you excited to see what Denis does with Dune Messiah. It shocks me, but at the same time not, that once again the Oscars, the Academy, has failed to nominate Denis Villeneuve for Best Director in his work here. Speaking of genre and genre bias, I find it kind of mind-boggling that he is not nominated for his work here. But hey, doesn't matter, because Denis, you killed it, man, and I'm excited to see what you do next. So that's my list. As you can tell, it wasn't really scripted, so hopefully it fits together in the edit. Once again, thank you guys so much for dropping by. I do appreciate your patience. I do appreciate you watching my videos and taking the time to sit and click the button and all that jazz. If you enjoyed this video, if you made it to the end, or if you like any of the other videos, please go ahead and like and subscribe, share with your people, and let me know in the comments below what were your favorite films of 2024. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.